The bank's been recording every forged signature, every fake document, and streaming it all to the FBI for the past 6 months. The federal agent explained as my brother-in-law Derek sat handcuffed in my living room. I stared at the man who'd just bragged about emptying my daughter's $500,000 trust fund, watching his smirk dissolve into pure terror. How did a simple college fund become part of an FBI sting operation? And why did they let him steal everything before arresting him? My name is Melissa Crawford, and I'm watching my brother-in-law learn that sometimes banks protect their clients in ways criminals never expect. But to understand why the FBI is in my living room and why my daughter's trust fund became bait in a federal investigation, I need to start from the beginning. 10 years ago, my husband Tom died in a construction accident. He was a project manager for a major firm, and his death benefits, combined with the settlement from the company, totaled nearly $2 million. After taxes and immediate expenses, I had enough to secure our daughter Emma's future and keep us comfortable while I returned to teaching. Tom's brother Derek was different back then, or maybe just better at hiding his true nature. He comforted us at the funeral, helped with paperwork, and seemed genuinely broken by his brother's death. When I mentioned setting up a trust fund for Emma's education, Derek offered to help. I work in finance, he said, which was technically true. He was a teller at a local credit union. I can make sure Emma gets the best possible setup. I should have paid attention to the way his eyes lingered on the settlement numbers. We established the Thomas Crawford Educational Trust with $500,000, structured to grow until Emma turned 18. The terms were specific. 2 signatures required for any withdrawal over $1,000. Both trustees had to appear in person for major changes, and the bank would verify identity through multiple channels for any significant transaction. Derek was named co-trustee because, as Tom's brother, it seemed like honoring family. For years, everything seemed fine. Derek got promoted to loan officer at his credit union, married a lovely woman named Patricia, and had 2 kids. We saw them at holidays, birthdays, the usual family gatherings. He'd occasionally ask about the trust, always framing it as concern for Emma's future. Then, 3 years ago, Patricia left him. The divorce was ugly. Accusations of hidden debt, gambling problems, suspicious cash withdrawals. Derek claimed Patricia was lying, trying to get more alimony. The family rallied around him because that's what families do. I started noticing changes after the divorce. Derek's investment opportunities he'd mention at dinner. His new car despite complaining about alimony payments. The way he'd steer conversations toward Emma's trust fund, calculating its growth out loud. Must be close to $700,000 by now with interest, he'd muse. Good thing she's got trustworthy family managing it. 6 months ago, Derek's mask slipped completely. He showed up at my door on a Tuesday afternoon, sweating despite the cool weather. "Mel, I need to talk to you about Emma's trust," he said, pushing past me into the house. "There's been some suspicious activity. We need to move the funds immediately." "What kind of suspicious activity?" I asked, alarm bells ringing in my head. "Potential fraud. Chinese hackers. The bank called me. We need to transfer everything to a safer account today. I may teach 3rd grade, but I'm not stupid. Then let's go to the bank together and sort it out." His face flushed. No, that's what they expect. I've already set up the secure account. Just sign these transfer papers." I looked at the documents he thrust at me, obviously homemade, with spelling errors and formatting issues. "Derek, these aren't real bank documents." That's when he dropped the act entirely. "Look, Mel, I'm in trouble. Real trouble. The kind where people break your legs trouble. I just need to borrow the money. I'll pay it back with interest." "Absolutely not. That money is for Emma's education. Tom would want me to live. He'd want his brother to survive. Tom would want his daughter to go to college." Derek left that day making vague threats about handling things himself and family loyalty. I immediately called the bank to put additional security on the account. That's when things got interesting. "Mrs. Crawford," the bank manager said carefully, "we've been monitoring some concerning activity around your account already. Could you come in tomorrow? Bring any documentation Mr. Derek Crawford has given you." The next day, I met not just with the bank manager, but with 2 FBI agents. They explained that Derek had been under investigation for 18 months as part of a larger case involving identity theft, bank fraud, and money laundering through online gambling sites. "Your brother-in-law owes approximately $400,000 to various creditors," Agent Martinez explained. "He's been attempting to access trust funds, elderly relatives' accounts, even his children's college savings. Yours is the largest single target. So arrest him, I said. We need him to actually commit the crime, Agent Chen replied. Right now we have evidence of attempted fraud, but for the full scope of charges, we need documented proof of him executing a major theft. They explained their plan. The bank would appear to lower security protocols, making it seem like Derek could forge my signature and access the funds. In reality, every transaction would be monitored, recorded, and traced. The money would be temporarily moved to a federal holding account while appearing to go wherever Derek directed it. What about Emma's college fund? I asked. Fully protected. The government will ensure every penny is returned, plus interest for your cooperation. I agreed, partly because I wanted Derek stopped, but mostly because I realized he'd never stop trying. If not Emma's fund, then someone else's life savings. For the next 5 months, I played my part. When Derek called with new schemes, I acted reluctant but didn't report him. When he showed up with increasingly sophisticated fake documents, I photographed them secretly but didn't call the police. The hardest part was watching him pretend to care about Emma while calculating how to steal her future. 2 weeks ago, Derek made his move. He arrived at the bank with forged documents, a fake ID showing him as sole trustee, and paperwork claiming I'd died in a car accident. The bank fell for it, transferring the entire $523,000 to an account Derek controlled. He couldn't resist coming to gloat. Handled everything, he said, sitting in my living room like he owned it. Emma won't need that fancy college anyway. Trade schools are very respectable these days. You stole from your own niece, I said, fighting to keep my voice level. I borrowed from family. Tom would understand. He always said family comes first. Tom said Emma comes first. Always. Derek smirked. Well, Tom's not here to complain, is he? And legally, that trust had 2 trustees. One of them just made an executive decision. That's when the doorbell rang. Federal agents. We have a warrant. Derek's face went white, then red, then white again as 6 agents entered my home. Agent Martinez, who I'd been working with for months, showed Derek the warrant while Agent Chen began reading his rights. This is entrapment, Derek screamed. She set me up. The bank helped her. Actually, Agent Martinez said calmly, the bank followed federal protocol for suspected fraud. Every document you forged, every signature you faked, every lie you told was recorded. We have video of you claiming Mrs. Crawford was deceased while she was very much alive and cooperating with our investigation. But the money is safe in a federal account. Did you really think you successfully transferred $500,000 with a forged death certificate from LegalZoom? As they prepared to take Derek away, he turned to me with rage in his eyes. How could you do this to family? How could you steal from a 13-year-old? I shot back. Emma's your niece, Tom's daughter, and you were willing to destroy her future for poker debts. I would have paid it back. Agent Chen pulled out a tablet, showing Derek's gambling history. According to these records, you've lost $1.3 million over 5 years. Exactly how were you planning to pay anyone back? Derek had no answer. As they let him out, Patricia appeared at my door. She'd been waiting in an FBI van, having provided crucial evidence about Derek's gambling addiction and previous theft attempts. I'm sorry, she said. I tried to warn everyone during the divorce, but he was Tom's brother, I finished. We wanted to believe him. Emma came home from school to find me sitting with federal agents and bank officials. At 13, she was old enough to understand what happened. The betrayal in her eyes when she learned Uncle Derek had tried to steal her college fund broke my heart. Did he take it all? She asked quietly. He tried, I said, hugging her close. But we were smarter. Every penny is safe, and it's now in an even more secure trust. No one can touch it but you when you turn 18. The federal prosecutor says Derek faces up to 30 years for bank fraud, identity theft, wire fraud, and conspiracy charges. The gambling sites he owed money to were also illegal operations, adding conspiracy to commit racketeering to his charges. His elaborate scheme to steal from multiple family members established a pattern that upgraded everything to federal crimes. The bank implemented new security measures and offered Emma an additional $50,000 for her trouble and our cooperation. They also provided free financial planning services to ensure her college funds would grow safely until she needed them. Derek's in federal custody awaiting trial. He still sends letters claiming I betrayed family, and Tom would be ashamed. I don't read them anymore. Tom would be proud I protected our daughter and stopped his brother from hurting anyone else. Emma asked me last week if she could speak at Derek's sentencing. What would you say? I asked. That Uncle Derek taught me something important. That family isn't about blood. It's about who protects you versus who tries to harm you. And that sometimes protecting your real family means stopping the fake family from hurting others. She's 13 and already wiser than her uncle ever was. The trust fund is now worth $575,000 and growing. Emma will go to any college she wants. And somewhere in federal detention, Derek is learning that gambling with other people's futures is the kind of bet where everyone loses, especially him.